We're remiss we didn't do the junior hockey report in hour one. We'll do it in hour two. It's brought to you by our friends at the Mad Greek Eatery. Moose Jaw Warriors falling 4-3 in overtime to the Brandon Wheat Kings Tuesday night. They got a home and home with the Regina Pats this weekend. The Moose Jaw Warriors. Great time, great opportunity to stop in at the Mad Greek Eatery in Moose Jaw. I'm sure Rich Sutter has been there. He's been in every town. Yeah, I knew it, Richie. Good to see you, my friend. Downtown Main Street, Moose Jaw. Yeah, whether it's pizza, ribs, or authentic Greek favorites, make it the Mad Greek Eatery tonight. All the hockey people go there. Okay, Richie, member of Hockey's First Family, 13-year NHL veteran. And can I start by saying congratulations to you and your brother on the Hall of Fame induction to the Western Canadian Pro Scouting Hockey Foundation. Hall of Fame. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was a very pleasant phone call from Garth Malarchuk and the gang here a couple of months ago. Surprised, but obviously very thrilled to go on with a group of people that are just not already in there, but the people that attend these things and the people that are out on the road and the highways and the back roads all through the winter months. Our hockey group in North America, in fact, the world, are a very special group of people, and to be involved in that and be a part of it is really, really cool.
It's end of August, Okotoks, Alberta. I plan to be there, and kudos to you and your twin brother, Ron. And, of course, Dwayne was surprised last year going in. It's one of the best events I've ever been at. So kudos, and I can't wait to be there this summer. Okay.
Well done. Get better and better at it, Rod. And I will interject you for a sec here. Ron Duguay. Ron has become a good friend the last couple of years with a lot of the charity work we do together. Obviously, he's been through a lot and he's a special human being. And all kudos to him on onward and upward with his health and be able to spend and wishful that be able to spend many more good times with him.
Special guy, Ron Duguay, man. His stories. Hey, hockey. Olympics. Bob Wilkie was on here yesterday. You know Bob, former Swift Current Bronco, NHL. He said his level of excitement for the Olympics men's hockey is 3 out of 10. I think that's going to change by tomorrow. But what's yours?
I think it's really exciting. Obviously, everyone has their favorites, and I think that look, in a one game showdown, I people can say it's Canada, it's U.S., but I honestly think it's wide open. I mean, all you need is to Philip Grubauer to have one big game, or one of the Swedish goalies, or one of the Czech goalies, or one of the Finnish goalies. We all know how good all these teams still are, and all you need is one game and a bounce here and a bounce there and a save here and a save there, and you're out. So that's why I think it makes it very interesting and will make it fun to watch.
See, now you're displaying how and why you're a true hockey guy. Because to the fans and media, which I would put myself in that, it's Canada, USA, that's it. Nobody's thought for a second they might not be in the gold medal game. Who's like the biggest threat besides those two, realistically?
I honestly, look, the Finns, how hard they play, you have to think that they can give someone a real push. But I think let's take a good look at the Swedes and not forget about them. Look, they're loaded, they're talented. I like their defense. I like their goaltending. They just got a real good, talented group of players there.
Well, it's funny because I think this is not the World Juniors. This is not going to be 14-1 games, I don't think. You know what I mean? Like, Canada's got a tiger by the tail in Cheshire on Thursday. I don't think there's going to be one easy game.
No. And I think that's what makes it fun. Like some of the early games might not mean something, but they should mean everything in the sense that you're trying to build towards something for 7 or 10 days down the road, because it's not like we're in a 2-week or 3-week tournament here where we're playing 8 or 10 games. You're playing a handful of games, and winning is at a premium. Winning is all important thing in terms of trying to build some momentum, chemistry with your group, and trying to get it through to the fourth, fifth, sixth games that where you are where you want to be when it comes and when it counts.
Well, I guess since we're here, I should ask you how you feel about Canada's roster. I know it's been endlessly picked apart, but I haven't heard your opinion.
I love it. I really do. Look, there's a lot of guys that were left at home, and that people talk about. I've read some articles I thought was kind of actually quite hilarious out of a city north of here about um, if a certain individual right-hand defenseman was left off the roster, is Canada regret it because Kel McCarr isn't? What if Kel McCarr fails? Well, you don't go in there hoping they're thinking if someone fails. Um, there's plenty of really good players in that Canada team, and we could probably have two teams, if truth be told, and still give everybody a run. So I like the roster. Obviously, the question is in goal, but Jordan Binnington sounds like he's going to get the nod early, and it's his. I think it's his crease to lose, in terms of losing the net, in terms of not starting any other games. So, is he capable of stepping up comparatively to how his season has been? Absolutely. Let's not forget that he's playing in front of a totally different group of players, probably some different structure, a much better group of players. Um, and I think he'll be very motivated to hopefully make this a real step forward for him and moving forward for the rest of the regular season when he gets back home to St. Louis.
Well, you're Tampa Bay Lightning alum. I'm sure you follow how John Cooper does things. I've had a front row seat the last 5 years. I can't believe anybody would think Binnington wouldn't start because he backstopped Canada to gold in the Four Nations face-off, which you saw me talking earlier. That was not this, but I guess it's a good indicator, and that's how Coop rolls. He sticks with his people. This should not be a surprise that it's basically the same roster.
No, and and there's a lot of guys on that roster who've got something to prove all the time, and they're a very motivated group. Uh, I love the Nate McKinnon story. Came out in the last year or so, but he's over there to have fun, but he's there to go home with gold and Mr. Serious. And there's a lot of guys that are like that. So I'm really anxious to see how they will do. I'm very excited for the group. Look, there's enough power and skill on all these teams that we could see 6, 5, 7, 6 games, but you're not going to get them because guys are going to check, and guys are going to play hard, and guys are going to play the right way, and every team has got good coaching, and so every team has got really good players. So that's what's going to make it a lot of fun.
Poll question here today for EMJ Marketing is which team has more pressure, Canada or USA? We all know the answer to that, but don't sleep on the Americans because I saw Mike Sullivan here at the Winter Classic. There's pressure on the States too. It's the States, win or else. What do you think about their outfit?
I love their group too. I think their defense is very good, very very skilled, very talented. Look, they all skate and move pucks, and with the ice surface, yeah, it's 3 feet shorter supposedly, um, but that also means that's a split second quicker. You got to be making your decisions, and that means you got to get the puck, and you got to see the play, and you got to immediately make the play, and you got to know what's coming once you get it, and so I think. That is a plus for the Americans. I'm not saying the Canadians aren't capable of doing that or any other teams aren't as well, but when I look at when you get the Quinn Hughes back there, the guys that can just skate and make plays and be so good at that, that will bode well for their team. Providing that their forwards come back and are running a little bit of interference that split second time to get in lanes to hold up the forecheck, which guys like Tom Wilson, Sam Bennett are going to bring, along with a lot of other guys on that Canadian team.
Okay, so again, you're sitting there in Alberta. We're in this NHL pause as far as NHL hockey goes. And then when it starts up, as far as I'm concerned, Rich, the playoffs are going to be on. You said you're still a believer in the Panthers. Talk to me about that.
Look, I'm partial to those people down there, Billy, and a huge fan of Paul. But just knowing some of the players and the staff there, until someone tells me no or shows me no, I believe in them. I think the last couple losses before the break, Matthew Tkachuk basically echoed what a lot of people found, that we can't continue to find ways to lose hockey games. We have to start winning these games. Look, I think the first 5 games, right out of the chute, it's going to be a sprint to the finish line. And the key for them is they're going to have to come out and they're going to have to get points immediately.
Well, that's the thing. I put a poll to the fans. I said, what should the Panthers do? And they said nothing. They don't want to see him add. They don't want to see him sell. What do you think they'll do? What do you think anybody will do? A lot of big trades have been made already. Quinn Hughes, Panarin. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a lot of look. They're dealing with a lot of injuries, and they're doing a lot more than what people know. And for people to think otherwise, they're crazy. Look, they've had 3 deep runs the last 3 years, wear and tear. If they don't make it this year, yeah, it's going to be a major disappointment to everyone down there and all their fans and everybody. But at the end of the day, that also gives them a reason and time to reset, get healthy, get rested. They've brought up a lot of players that have been given a good at chunks of ice time and responsibility. Those guys have also gotten better and become better players. This wouldn't be such a bad thing if the Panthers didn't make it. I think it'd be a huge reset for them. They're just too good. They play a lot of hockey, like I said, in the last 3 years, and it's taken its toll. I'd rather see the Florida Panthers as they are, with a team that's rested and ready to go again, if they don't make it. And I have the utmost confidence in that group. I still do.
What about the other Canadian teams? Like if you're Winnipeg, how are you approaching, the rest of the year?
Well, again, they're like the Panthers. They've got to win immediately, coming right out of the hopper. And if they don't, they're obviously in trouble. It's been, quite frankly, a disappointment to see that group, how they've performed this year. Um, they haven't defended nearly as well. Obviously, having Hellebuyck out for the time he was out did not help. They didn't get the goaltender that they were hoping they were going to get. Look, Connor Hellebuyck wins you hockey games. Their goaltending wasn't winning them hockey games when he was out, and that might have been the platform to jump the team forward to get them through that time when he was out, but it didn't happen. So they're in tough. I would think that Chevy's going to have to be taking calls and fielding calls and seeing what he can do, but it's a hard thing to do in a market like that, because I still think they're a good group, but also shows you, Rod, in our league, the fine line between winning and losing and making the playoffs, not making the playoffs. The margins are so slim.
Oh, yeah. Well, and by the way, I'm looking at the jerseys over your shoulder. What's the significance of the ones that I'm looking at right now? Boston and Detroit. You never played in Boston and Detroit.
Well, Boston Bruins play a lot of hockey. How I like to play. Ray Bork
Okay.
I'm a fan of Ray Bork. That is a jersey that I exchanged with him a few years ago. It's actually got 1993 Stanley Cup playoffs on their badge. The next one is Gordie Howe. I've got it personalized from Gordie. Next one is my Blues jersey. The next one is Vinny LeCavier, who I was a big fan of, signed. And the next one, of course, is the Panthers.
Well, there's
Got
a thing.
100 of them. My wife said to me, Rod, she goes, "Hun, we got to start downsizing, start getting rid of things." She had this thing starting January 1. She's going to move 2 or 3 things out of her house. She started the first 2 or 3 weeks, and I kept looking at her, and she looked at me and she goes, "I haven't seen you do anything yet." And I said, "Don't touch my hockey stuff."
I can imagine the look on your face. And here's the thing: when she said that, we got to start moving stuff up. You give that look, that Sutter look, not just a rich look. But I love teasing you. It's one of my favorite things. And I don't see a Canucks jersey there. Maybe you don't have enough room for all your teams.
Flyers, Canucks, Blues, Blackhawks are all on the other walls. Jeremy Yager. There's lots of guys on the walls in this house.
Well,
I got to start room for all my baseball memorabilia.
Well, like I said, it's a Hall of Fame career. I teased you about playing for all those teams, but you can speak on all those teams. Like the Vancouver Canucks, I'm guessing you just don't even like talking to anybody I know connected to that team, just doesn't want to talk about it.
Oh, it's just been one thing after another for the last 2, 3 years. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't want to call it a soap opera, but it's disappointing. Um, there just seems to be no, what's the plan? And there doesn't seem to be one right now, which is disappointing because I want to see
Yeah.
fans get rewarded for their allegiance.
John in Winnipeg writes in a Jets fan. He says, true to the point on the Winnipeg Jets, Mr. Sutter. Well, Rich is going to give you his thoughts, whether you like him or not. That's just the way that it is. But I'll say this. You mentioned playing for Chicago. Who's got the better future? Chicago or like if Chicago's got the stud, but is there enough there?
I think they've gone about the right way. They've been patient. They've drafted quite well. Their player development seems to be working. I still think they need a goalie, but I do like the potential on their back end. There's enough guys there. Like, who would not want to play for Original 16? Chicago is one of the best cities in the league to play in. They've been competitive this year. The people are coming back into the building every night. They've got room now with all the draft picks they've had and the guys that are coming along to probably move one or two of those guys out and get some legitimate veterans in there that can really lead the way. Nick Foligno's been great for them. Mikhail's been great for them. The thing with Nick is he hasn't been able to stay healthy this year, but they need leadership like him still, one or two more guys, but obviously guys are probably a little bit earlier in their careers in terms of age, where they can give a little bit more and a little bit better of a supporting cast around Connor. They took that step a little bit this year. They need to continue to do it for sure.
In a minute, give me a thought on the Golden Knights since we air in Nevada now daily, which I don't think you knew. Give me a word on them.
Well, when you look at their record, I was commenting to someone in the NHL a couple days ago. Like, look at their win regulation wins. They're either tied or less wins than the Blues in regulation, and look where they're at in the standings compared to the Blues. So it tells you the nature of the beast in the standings in the Western Conference, in particular the Pacific. But it also tells you that I know for a fact that Kelly and Bruce are not happy in terms of where the group is at. Probably more fortunate, to tell you the truth. And with a lot of guys going away to the Olympics, are they going to have enough juice coming back for the sprint to finish the season out, to finish strong? That remains to be seen because there's a few guys off that group. But, hey, you know what? I want them to do well because the better they are, the better the hockey is, the better the playoffs is, the more exciting it is to watch.
For sure. Well, and you get it as a longtime Junior follower as well. They don't doubt Kelly. One day they'll all figure it out. You don't doubt Kelly. All right, Rich, we're out of time. Great to see you. Enjoy the hockey.
Yeah.
Member of hockey's first family, Rich Sutter, checking in from the bridge. We'll be back on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.